Hello viewers, myself Hasina Bibi, Assistant Professor of CSE Department, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. This is the video lecture for the topic Control Structures, Selection, Iterations, Branching, Guarded Statements. These are the topics from the second unit of Principles of Programming Languages. Let us start with the control statements. Control structures are a way to specify the flow of controls in a program. Any algorithm or program can be clearer and understood if they use self-contained modules called as logic or control structures. It basically analyzes and chooses in which direction a program flows based on certain parameters or conditions. There are three basic types of control structures or flow of controls. They are sequential flow, conditional flow, or repetitive flow. In Fortran 1, control statements were based directly on IBM 704 hardware. In different languages, control structures were developed based upon their programming structures. A control structure is a control statement and the statements whose execution it controls. There are two control structures are based upon the conditions and evaluation of the result of the condition. They are the selection statements and iterative statements. A selection statement provides the means of choosing between two or more paths of execution. And there are two general categories of selection statements: two-way selector, multiple-way selector. Two-way selector consists of if, one condition, control expression, then class, else class. then class will be the true part. If the condition is true, then class will be executed, or if the condition is false, else class will be executed. For example, in Java, if sum equal to in Python, if x greater than y, x will be x equal to y. Print y was greater than else print y was greater than y. Okay, so here automatically in Python the false part will be mentioned. Nested selectors. Java support nested conditions. If sum equal to 0, if count equal to 0. So first condition, if the first condition will be is true, the second condition will be evaluated. If the second condition is also true, the true part will be executed, that is 0 will be assigned to result, else 1 will be assigned to result. So here in this example, if the second condition is also true, 0 will be assigned to result. Otherwise, it consists of the else part. Else part corresponds to the second if statement. So the corresponding else parts will be executed for the respective if statements. Selector expressions. In ML, F-hash and Lisp, the selector is an expression. For example, let y equal to. If x greater than 0, then x, else 2 star x. If expression returns a value, there must be an else class. The expression could produce output rather than a value. Multi-way selection statements. It allows the selection of one of any number of statements or statement groups. So we might studied about switch case. It is applicable in C, C++, Java and JavaScript. Multi-way selection conditions and the corresponding statements can be defined under the switch case statement. Also, Ruby has two forms of case statements. We will cover leap equal to case. Here there is a conditions will be nested to provide the multiple selection statements. Iterative statements. The repeated execution of a statement or compound statement is accomplished either by iteration or recursion. There are two types of loops are there: counter controlled loops and Logically controlled loops. Counter controlled loops. A counting iterative statement has a loop variable and a means of specifying the initial and terminal and step size values. For example, for loop. For in ADA, for loop in C will have the common format we know, and in ADA this is the structure. For variable in reverse, discrete range, loop, and further it will consist of the loop statements and end of the loop statements. And in C based languages the format will be like this: for expression 1, expression 2, expression 3 statement, and the conditions will be enclosed within the for statement. C++ differs from C in two ways. The control expression can also be Boolean. The initial expression can include variable definitions. Java and C hash differs from C hash. Java differs from C hash in that the control expression must be Boolean. Logically controlled loops. Repetition control is based on a Boolean expression. For example, C and C++ have both pre-test and post-test forms in which the control expressions can be arithmetic. Java is like C and C++ except the control expression must be Boolean and the body can only be entered at the beginning. But in F hash, as with counter controlled loops, logically controlled loops can be simulated with recursive functions. This defines the recursive function. The given code defines the recursive function while loop with parameters test and body, both functions. Test defines the control expression. User located loop control mechanisms. Sometimes it is convenient for the programmers to decide a location for loop control. C, C++, Python, Ruby and C hash have unconditional unlabeled exit. That is the break statement. Break statement is used to terminate the execution of the loop. Java and Perl have unconditional labeled exit. And continue is the statement which is supported by C, C++ and Python. Continue statement will stop the execution of the current iteration and the next iteration will be continuous. The number of elements in a data structure controls the loop iteration. Control mechanism is a call to an iterator function that returns the next element in some chosen order if there is one, else loop will be terminated. PHP. Current points at one element of the array. Next move the current to the next element. So reset moves current to the first element. So this will be implemented in the PHP. And in Java there is another kind of implementations for the looping. Unconditional branching. It will transfer the execution control to the specified place without checking any condition. Guarded statement. Guarded commands. The purpose of guarded commands is to support a new programming methodology that supported verification. So if the order of evaluation is not important, the program should not specify one. For example, selection guarded command. Form if Boolean expression and the statement and the list of Boolean expressions will be there. When construct is reached, evaluate all Boolean expression. If more than one are true, choose one non-deterministically. If none are true, it will show the runtime error. Loop guarded command. Do Boolean and the statements will be there. So here evaluate all the Boolean expressions. If more than one are true, choose one non-deterministically, then start the loop again. If none are true, this will exit the loop. So that's all about the control structures in different programming languages. Thank you all.